There, everybody, Squid Vicious here. Got another vicious video for you. I went ahead and saw a travel humidor made by Scott. It looked quite similar to a previous one that I did that held about 6 sticks in there. I saw this one. This one's just a little bit different. It looks almost the same, but we're actually going to go ahead and unbox this and take a look at it. So, ordered this off of Amazon, and it's from Scott. And this actually came in a very nice like a um, kind of like a velvet pouch kind of a deal here, and it had a drawstring on it. So this is what the humidor looks like. It's black. It's a little bit textured here, and it has a zipper on it, kind of like a gold-plated like a zipper. And we're going to go ahead and open this thing up, and we're going to see what we have. It's made out of like leather, real nice leather. And inside here, what we have is enough for 7 cigars. So what we're going to take a look at is see what some of the things are that it comes with. Of course, they give you some instructions that tell you some information about the humidor. Uh, Tells you to take out the humidifier and put a little bit of distilled water in there. And it says leave it there for about 12 hours. And it says you want to get a reading between 65 to 75% on the hygrometer that's in here. And they even tell you about the hygrometer, about the humidity, what it should be. And if it's beyond 80, there's a little bit too much water, and you should probably go ahead and air it out a little bit. And it does say at the bottom line here that the hygrometer is pre-calibrated, but of course, we're going to go ahead and test that. So let's take a look and see what we have in here. Well, first of all, we got a couple Velcro straps, and the inside actually has a couple of trays in here, which smell delicious, by the way. They do have enough for 7 cigars. They do come out. Can't seem to get my fingers in there. It does also have a lighter that it comes with. So we're going to take a look at this lighter. This is a real nice lighter from Scott. It is a quad flame lighter. Obviously, it is not filled because they can't ship it filled. And it does have at the very bottom here a punch to go ahead and punch your cigars. And it's actually very, very nice. It's got kind of like a brown wood grain kind of a finish on it here. And it also has the very, very top where you can go ahead and set your cigar. Okay. Now, they don't really tell us an awful lot in the instructions about about filling it and so on and so forth, but it does have a fill hole here at the bottom, and it does have a very small adjuster that you'll need a little small tiny screw to here to go ahead and adjust the flame height. But it looks like a very, very nice lighter. It's not cheap, and that comes with this. So with these here, it actually has this hygrometer here that you can actually take out, and typically this is made up of like a sponge, and here's the hygrometer here. Right now this is set at, or currently says on here, about 30%. Obviously there's no humidity yet, but it's about 30% that needle is. I don't know if you can see that very clearly or not. Just about 30. But what we can do is we just go ahead and fill this up. Now, it did not have a dropper, but you can, maybe get some cigar juice or something to that effect to go ahead and make that humid. Now, these trays do come out, and they smell pretty good. And what you can do is do kind of like, since it is a travel humidor, the old-fashioned method is to kind of wipe this down with distilled water, wipe the inside in here, and set that back in here. And this one as well on this side, we can go ahead and take this out, or you might need to turn it forward here. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with this side also. We'll go ahead and wipe this down and wipe the inside out. And what we're going to do is, like I always do, is I want to go ahead and test this to see whether or not this works and see how accurate the hygrometer is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the lighter back in its bag here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some cigar juice inside here or some distilled water, whichever. And I'm going to go ahead and use a digital hygrometer. I'm going to leave that in here too. But I'm going to go ahead and wipe all this down. And I'm going to let it sit for, I know it says about 12 hours. I like to usually set it for about 24 hours. And we're going to see just how well and how accurate the hygrometer is. So this hygrometer here is, again, is set to about almost 30, and this says about 24. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wipe this down, and we're going to check it out tomorrow. We're going to just see just how accurate this thing is and give you some final thoughts about this. Okay, so we'll go ahead and wipe this all down, and we'll go ahead and check it out and see what we get. Okay, everybody, it's been about 24 hours, and we're going to check out this humidor here that we got from Scott, and we're going to see whether or not we have um, the humidity levels. I'm just getting the lighter here that came with this. So we want to check out and see if the hygrometer here was accurate. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this thing up, and we're going to see what kind of results that we got from this here, okay? So looking at this here, after about 24 hours, the digital hygrometer is only telling me it's about 36% with humidity, and the internal one, the one that it came with, is showing us a little bit over 50. If you can see that there. Okay. There's a wee little bit over 50. All right. Now, based on that information, it doesn't really seem like this locks in an awful lot. The only caveat would be right now, our temperature is probably about 6 degrees right now because of our weather situation. But I went ahead and wiped all this down. I took everything out and I filled the sponge up with distilled water. Now, instead of using a dropper for these, they don't give you a dropper. So, like I said here, you can see that gauge is like a little bit over 50 here. Underneath, there is a sponge, and you can actually take this out and soak this sponge, which I did, and went ahead and put this back in here. So I don't have an awful lot of trapped humidity for this. So one of the things that I always mention is that these are pretty much made for short-term purposes. So if you plan on keeping it here a little bit longer, a couple things you could probably do is maybe get a bovine pack. You can get some of the smaller, like 72% ones, or if you want to get a larger one and leave in here a little bit longer, you can. Um, but it is a nice humidor, a nice travel humidor. And again, a lot of these I would pretty much use for temporary storage. So whenever I take my travel humidors out, I go ahead and take them wherever I'm going. But when I come home, I usually take my smokes out and stick them in my regular humidor. So this is mainly for short-term purposes, but it is very nice. Again, it is textured. This one happens to be black. It does have a pouch here in the front, like if you want to put a cell phone or something in there. It does hold 7 smokes. This is probably about 7 inches long lengthwise. So you could fit about 7 smokes in here, and it does come with this lighter. Um, that's by Scott, and like as I mentioned, it does have a punch on the bottom. It is a quad flame, and you can set your smoke on the top if you want to. Okay, um, so it's a nice lighter. You could probably get a different lighter if you get one approximately the same size, so that you can go ahead and store your lighter here. Okay. So even though this doesn't really lock any humidity in long term, it's still a really nice travel humidor. And as I mentioned, you may want to go ahead and maybe try some cigar juice in here or let it sit a little bit longer before you go ahead and put some smokes in here. I let this sit for 24 hours. And you can see pretty much the results of that. Now, as I mentioned, you want to wipe down this cedar in here. If you want to put a cedar strip underneath, you could. Um, but it is a nice travel humidor. So this is from Scott, and I believe that this one, um, I'm gonna get you a price on it, what I paid for it at the time. You'll find a lot of these made by a lot of different um, companies that will have things like, built-in hygrometer maybe in on the top, or they might have just six smokes. One of the ones I bought only had about six. It's just going to depend on whether or not how many that you want. I think six is pretty much enough, but it's going to be up to you how you want it. Okay. So this one in particular ran about $43 at the time of this video. But it is nice, and it does secure your smokes in here. It does give you about seven of them in here. So, and it gives you that nice layer too. So this again is from Scotte, and nice little travel humidor. Like I mentioned, long term, like I said, I would probably take your smokes out whenever you come home, stick them in your regular humidor. Um, and like I said, if you want to use a boveda pack, you can use a boveda pack in here as well. Okay. So, where did I get the idea of getting this? I want to give a shout out to Cigar Brother. Cigar Brother is a nice channel that will show you a lot of information about cigars. He tries out all kind of different kinds of sticks, but he also does have some travel humidors, regular humidors, and those kind of things. So check out Cigar Brother also on YouTube here. You'll get some really, really good information on there with a lot of cigar life stuff. Okay. So that's it, everybody. So happy smoking. And if you are interested in this humidor, um, like I said, hold some decent amount of sticks. But like I said, long-term humidity, I would watch out for that. Okay. So happy smoking, and I'll see you all next time.